guys, today we're going to talk about something that is sensitive. And so I am going to do a disclaimer right up front and tell you that this is not coming from a place of judgment. This is specifically for parents and also for people who have children as a big part of their lives. Maybe you're a school teacher, you have nieces and nephews you spend a lot of time with, and some of it will be applicable mostly to parents. And you have to understand, I'm a parent of 4 children myself. I by no means feel like I've done things correctly. Definitely tried my best, and I've studied quite a bit about child development, but most of this is coming from things I have experienced in doing sessions with kids. So, as most of you by now know, I am working on my first big program for kids called Hot Cocoa with Dawni. And having said that, I'm going to take a taste of my kind of hot cocoa. It's a mocha. As close as I get to hot cocoa anyway. In doing so, I have been very present to what I have learned from these kids over the years as I've interacted with my own kids. I have 40, you heard me right, 40 nieces and nephews that are a big part of my life. And I have done sessions with children and teens for many years now. And as I've been working on Hot Cocoa with Dawni and really deciding and narrowing down exactly what I want to address, which has been difficult because there's so much I want to say to these kids and so many ways that I want to try to, communicate and interact with them and help guide them, which sounds sort of pretentious, but I don't know a better way to put it. It's really brought to the surface the things that I've heard kids say over the years. And although in a way every kid has been different, there have been many, many, many similarities and patterns. And so I wanted to address some of those today from a place of love, not from a place of blame or judgment, and really have this conversation. So the first thing that I want to say is that these kids who come see me, they all want the same thing. Every single one of them at some point in their session, and sometimes for most of their session, the gist of it is that they want their parents to be okay. It's been heartbreaking for me to hear how many kids, little kids even, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, are worried about their parents. And what it does when a kid has to worry about their parents is it takes them out of their own center. Now, I'm not talking about, you're sick one day and they make you some soup and learn compassion. I'm not even talking about you're chronically ill and they know that and are sad for you. I'm talking about them being very, very worried about you being okay. Like really worrying about your wellness to the point where they cannot handle their own. Now, we are all dealing with different things. And so what are we willing to use as motivation, not as shame, but as motivation to be as healthy in every possible way as we can so that our children can focus on their own wellness, right? Your kids know everything. They know so much more than you can ever possibly imagine they know. They listen when you don't know they're listening. The things these kids have told me over the years, everything from a little girl who knew exactly who all of the men were that her mom was sleeping with, to a little girl who knew that her dad had threatened to kill her mom, The list goes on and on and on about what these kids are aware of that you don't know they're aware of. It's a pretty good idea to assume they know almost everything that's going on. I really feel like we underestimate them a lot. I know that we don't mean to be condescending, but in a way we are. They are so observant and so sensitive and so intuitive. And they sense the energy in the home. So for instance, even if you and your spouse are not fighting in front of them, they feel the tension when you're fighting. I know that this is hard to talk about and that this can be a very raw subject. And I absolutely know that every single one of you adores and loves your children and wants what's best for them. And sometimes that demands us, and maybe all the time that demands us, that we heal what we need to, we work on what we need to, and we be the very best versions of ourselves that we possibly can be. At the same time, being an example of self-forgiveness for our children, right? So that they know it's never about perfection, but it is about working towards a trajectory that is healthy, that is functional, that is positive, so that we are not normalizing things for our children that are unhealthy and giving them templates that don't bless their lives. All of that being said, there is a specific pattern that I keep seeing where people of my generation, right? So again, I'm almost 50, and people of the generation right underneath me and right above me complain quite a bit about millennials. And I'm not going to get into the exact, ages there, but let's say kids ages 0 to 25. And I know that there's other names for one of those groups of generations, whatever, those ages. And there's a lot of talk about how sensitive they are, the lack of resilience, and I understand that, I really do. But I've seen a pattern here where one of the things that's happening is that these kids are reacting to a lack of congruence in the world, in society, in their parents, and in the adults in their lives. For instance, I had a client who, sat in a session with me, was very honest about what was happening in his marriage and the level of abuse and disconnect and how much he wanted a divorce. And when he left my house, we're friends on social media, I'm not joking, he must have written it in the parking lot. Within 3 minutes of him leaving my house, he posted on social media, "Happy anniversary to the love of my life. I hope we have many more." And so I'm an adult and I can get the nuances there and I can get, everything that goes along with that. But kids, this generation of kids, it makes them not trust us. They need to know what's what. They need to know what is expected of them and what we are there to provide. And when we say something, they need to see us act on that and walk our talk, because otherwise they can't handle it. Basically, what I see kids of that generation not being able to handle is bullshit, is a lack of transparency, a lack of honesty, a lack of alignment. These kids respond poorly to confusion, to wishy-washiness, to us being all over the place, to a lack of integrity. And so, as I'm sitting there doing these Hot Cocoa with Dawni, videos, and trying to really deeply connect to these kids that will be watching them, I can't stop thinking about their parents and the adults in their lives. And what do we need to provide them on that level? And I mean, obviously this could be a whole video series in and of itself on parenting, and I'm not a parenting expert. I don't have a degree in this. You know, what I do have is that I'm the oldest of a bunch of kids, that I have 4 of my own kids, that I was a nanny for years, that I've helped raise many, many kids besides my own. And I've done sessions for 16 years with kids and teens. So that's my credibility there. I'm telling you right now, you guys, and this is coming from sheer love. Love for you and love for your kids, and a deep desire for us to have healthy families. That if we can do everything in our power to be well ourselves, to be in alignment ourselves, to create a really congruent and strong foundation in our homes where things are spoken of in a healthy and functional way, and where we are aware of where we are out of alignment and we're in communication about that, we're honest and straightforward about that, and we're working on it. This is a really, really, really hard thing to do in a morning video, you know, to wake up and do a video like this. But I hope that you can feel the place it's coming from. Basically, everything I do is for kids. Every time I'm working with an adult, there is an agenda under there for me. that adult heals so that they can help the kids, so that they can be an example, so that they can be a guide. This is what it's about, right? We're not the Dalai Lama. We're the monks who teach the Dalai Lama. We are here to provide a space for the children of this planet, whether they're ours or other people's, where these kids can thrive, where they can learn, where they can be empowered. And in order to do that, we've got to step up our game. That's all there is to it. And I'm including myself in this 100%. We've got to step up our game, and we've got to be more consistent and more congruent and healthier. And whatever that means to you, right? We've talked about this before. When I say healthy, I don't mean one person's version of healthy. I mean each one of us as individuals knowing that we are doing everything in our power to get healthier in every way, and that will look different ways for each one of us. So, I just want to come together on this. I want us to be willing to have these difficult conversations, sometimes triggering conversations. Your kids love you. When these kids sit here in this living room with me, you know, in the chair across from me, and they're so worried about their parents, it is coming from love. They love you, and they forgive easily when things are put out there in a true and honest and raw way. We are better off letting our kids know what's up, and of course an age-appropriate way, than we are in trying to hide things. It's confusing for them. They need transparency, you guys. They crave transparency. They want to be able to trust us, and transparency is what gives them that. So I really hope that you have, taken this in the spirit in which it was given, and that maybe it has helped to remember what it is that we're working towards and why. And whatever conversations need to happen, maybe you do need to sit down with your kids and say, hey, listen, I have some apologies to make. Let's have a conversation. What is it that you need from me? What would help you feel more safe with me? And maybe at first the kids are like, I don't know. But after a while, if you keep listening, they will tell you. These kids pour their hearts out to me, you guys. And there are so many times they leave here and I cry. And I don't just cry for them. I cry for us as parents. I get that we are trying, but are we really, really, truly being completely honest with ourselves, doing the very, very best that we can? Because if nothing else, we owe them that. May your coffee be strong and your life be blessed.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you would be interested in working with me further, you can check out DawniAngel.com. I would love to come speak to your group, come to your business to do a training, be on your podcast, my personal favorite, or even work with you one-on-one.